Welcome back. Welcome back to the 210 show. We are here today to speak a couple different topics. The first topic we're going to go to is the NFL division by Mr. Goodell over here. And then we have the SEC Mafia by Hater with Facts. And then we have Woo Pig Suey. I hate saying that every time I guess.
I love it. I love it.
College football rankings. And then for me, way too early MVP predictions. So without further ado, I'm going to toss it over to our commissioner of the league. Kick us off with NFL divisions.
All right, so we actually collectively got together. Well, not together because there's going to be some hot takes in here. Where we were individually trying to gather early rankings for each division. So we'll just kick it right off. As you guys know, we did cover the AFC West, so we're not going to dive into that one. But so we'll start off with the AFC East. And this is what I have as far as my predictions. Now, keep in mind, some of these are hot takes. There's going to be some surprises, just like there is every season. But in the AFC East, I don't see there being much of a surprise. So first of all, I got the Buffalo Bills topping that particular division. Next, they're followed up, and this is where it gets interesting, is the Miami Dolphins. That's my next one. I think that they just still have some good key wide receivers and skill positions and stuff like that. They just need to shore up I think they need to shore up their coaching a little bit if they're going to even hope to compete, but we'll see. The next one I have is, and this is going to be this was a tricky one for me because I actually put the Patriots in there. I think they got better.
Yeah,
I really do. I think that they got better skill positions and, they got better coaching. And then of course you have the Jets, and the reason why I have them finishing last in the division is certainly not because of their defense, because that's what's going to keep them in games. But I just don't think that they have anywhere near the offense to really compete in this division. They're saying, I think Justin Fields, he's actually really been struggling. Has been the rumor out there for him. So I know you have Garrett Wilson. He's good. But he doesn't do you a damn bit of good if you can't get him the ball. The defense is, like I said, what's going to keep him in the games. Anyway, that's what I have for the AFC East.
So recap. So Bills is 1.
Yep.
What else you got? Who's 2?
Dolphins.
Dolphins are 2.
Yeah, I got the Fish, and then I have the Pats, and then the Jets.
Pats, Jets. So I'm going to tell you right now, the Dolphins are going to be made into bumblebee tuna.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree.
They're going to be last. I would predict that they finish worse than the Jets.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like Tua,
and that's saying something.
That's a bold take.
Yeah, that's saying something. So they're going to be turned into.
Well, you might be onto something, just because Tariq Hill, he's not getting any younger. No. They did lose Mostert. Their offensive line has been suspect. They did lose some talent there as well.
Yeah,
I don't really think that they boned up too much in the draft.
No.
So, but I still think that they're better. This is a tough division to actually pick, outside of the Bills.
I think it's quite easy, but yeah, I would agree with you in most sense. But, look at it way too, the beef between Tua, Mike, and then Tyreek. Tyreek says some.
This is true too.
Some jacked up stuff, man. Like, bro, keep that stuff in the house, man. Don't put your dirty laundry out there.
Well, and then it doesn't help, when he says that as soon as he gets out, he's going to go do porn and all that other stuff.
Yeah, this dude.
I think Justin Fields is better than people say.
You think so?
I do.
You do? Really?
Wow. What makes you say that?
The way he plays, it seems, I don't know. I think this year he could have a bounce back year, and they've got a good defense.
What are you projecting? Like yards and touchdowns? What are you thinking?
No, I don't know. Tua, I never liked Tua's play. I never liked him as a starting quarterback. I never saw him as a starting quarterback. So
he's good.
I'm not saying Justin Fields is going to be a world breaker. I just think he's going to be better than Tua is.
Tua, his problem is that man needs to get out from the sport, man. They're going to kill him.
Yeah.
He's one concussion away from being really hurt. That last concussion that he had was scary.
Mm-hmm. And how many has he had now? 3 or 4?
Too many.
I want to say 4.
Yeah. What? And you sure that's not a little bit of a Roll Tide hate coming on there?
How many Alabama quarterbacks have? I'm just saying. There's a reason why Alabama quarterbacks don't usually make it. It's because they have.
That's fair. Does Jalen Hurts count?
I mean, there are exceptions.
Halfway.
Yeah, halfway.
Okay.
But they have all the talent around them. They have an offensive line that could hold back the U.S. Army. So, I mean, it's like
Nice. Yeah.
they've never really experienced the fire. You know what I'm saying? I'm surprised Ohio State quarterbacks do as well as they do because they have the same issue. They have all the talent around them. You know.
Well, there's one outlier. I mean, C.J. Stroud is an outlier in that group. Let's be real. Like your opinion of Justin Fields is completely different from mine. But
even C.J. Stroud actually took a step back last year.
But that's because their offensive line went to crap. So that's I couldn't fully blame C.J. Stroud on that part
and
of it.
that's with the sophomore slump. You know, like
they say
almost
that.
all quarterbacks.
It contributes to it
because you have a whole year of tape on them.
Fair,
Yeah.
but it doesn't help when your offensive line goes to Swiss cheese. That just doesn't
Yeah.
help. The same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Mahomes felt that. You know what I mean? But to quick pivot on your point though, based on your order, I have slightly different. I have the Patriots finishing second.
I do too.
I'm a big fan of Vrabel. I love the collection of talent that they have, but I believe in him and bringing out the most out of them. And the fact that they have Josh McDaniels as offensive coordinator now really helps Drake May, and he has the talent to elevate those guys. Now, the only thing that can ruin it is if Stephon Diggs decides to turn into an a-hole.
Well,
If that happens,
they've actually been saying that he's been balling in camp.
but the thing is how consistent that is. Like, does he stay even keel, to make sure that he doesn't overly influence what happens there and keep him within the system, right? Do your job. Now, I have Miami finishing third, and I have the Jets finishing last because, again, I just don't believe in Justin Fields. And if I were to measure the quarterbacks, it would be in that order: Josh Allen, Drake May, Tua, and Justin Fields.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You know what? I'm going to do a
fair
little.
point.
I'm going to do a little audible just because of doing audible. I'm thinking the Patriots are actually going to finish before the Bills because I was just looking at their defense and their production.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me. I'm recording this, so just so the audience knows, we're recording all of our predictions now, and we get one final do-over before the season starts. So I just want to make sure you have the Bills second.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You had the Patriots first.
Yes.
Okay.
And the rest is the Jets are going to finish better than the Dolphins. I would love that to happen. I want that to happen, so I'm going to stick with that too.
Okay. So
I'm just not with Bumblebee Tuna.
So
The Bills have won the East, 5 years running?
yes.
yeah.
So,
Yeah,
And
but
nobody's even competed with him.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Did y'all see who the Patriots drafted from a defensive standpoint? They got the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
With Vrabel there, that's the missing link. I'm
Yeah.
trying to tell you. And I hate the Patriots. I hate them.
Yeah.
So saying that makes me want to vomit. But that's who I would switch because originally I had Bills, Pats, Dolphins, Jets, but I'm switching it up.
Kyle, did you give your picks?
Oh, mine's very similar. Mine's Bills, Patriots, Jets, Dolphins.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay.
So that was the NFC,
AFC East.
AFC East. Okay,
so
we
let's
got
go ahead and
AFC East.
pivot over to the AFC North. Now, this is going to be a fun division.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is right up there with the AFC West as far as from a competitive standpoint. Well, at least with 3 teams. Obviously, I have but even still, there might be some surprises. You never know. That's why they play the game, right? But I have the Ravens actually finishing first in that division. Until you can beat the best, you can't be the best if you can't beat the best. And then in this one, I might get beat up over this one, but I have Cincinnati going second. Just because I think their skill positions, their defense is still a little bit suspect. But I think that as long as Burrow and Chase are upright, man, that's a hell of a combination. So I think that their skill positions are really good. Their offense, I think the only way that they're going to actually win or get any better is to stay on the field offensively. And then the next one, and this was kind of tricky, because, I don't know if it's me hating, but as much as I like Mike Tomlin, I think that the Steelers are going to take a step back. I think they're going to finish third. And not only that, losing Pickens, that didn't help matters any at all.
Mm-hmm.
So their wide receivers, they got Metcalf now, but they also lost Najee Harris, so their running game is weird. And then, of course, they got Cleveland finishing last. I want to see Cleveland actually do well to some extent, just, because I like their defense, and that's what's going to keep them in games, just like the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
But I still don't think their offense is just, it's a mess, especially at the quarterback position. They do have Jerry Jeudy, who actually kind of came into his own last year, but outside of him, who do they really have? So that's my picks for the AFC North.
Okay, so I basically have the same order, but I was going back and forth with Pittsburgh because I can't stand Aaron Rodgers, and I'm not going to go on that soapbox today.
Oh, that's another thing. I'm glad you brought that up because, all accounts, they're saying that man looks
Old,
lethargic and slow.
and that's what, between that and the first preseason game with the Bengals, if I wanted to lean so hard in the fact that they're going to just start slow as they normally do. Zach Taylor gets fired, and it's just all snowball from there. And Pittsburgh will be able to take advantage of that. I can't do that now because the way Joe Burrow operates just tells me that he's going to say F it, and he's going to will this team into a playoff spot because he understands what time it is for them. And unfortunately for the Steelers, they turned themselves into a old folks home. Yeah. They traded every single acquisition that they made at a particular position was an older version of what they had leave.
That's true.
Make it make sense.
Exactly. Like you traded you traded your all-pro safety Minka Fitzpatrick for Jalen Ramsey, who is now older.
Washed up.
Yeah. You get rid of Najee. Well, I guess the only exception to that would be a running back because you got rid of Najee Harris for, I was going to say RJ Harvey, but
no, that's Bronco.
Caleb Johnson. Yeah. And you swap out both Russ and Justin Fields. You let them both go, and you bring out somebody that's older than both of them, and Aaron Rodgers. How does that make sense? And then, DK is DK, but he's still older than George Pickens. So, and by the way, you decide to trade for Jonnu Smith. Why? I have no idea. So to me, there's nothing that the Steelers have done to give me any hope that they can somehow, maintain a winning record. I feel like that's really on the fence right now. I want to say 9 wins, but even then, it'll be a miracle if they actually get that far. And unfortunately for Mike Tomlin, the streak of him having 17 consecutive seasons with a winning record is over. Is absolutely over. And of course, Cleveland being Cleveland, they're
going to do Cleveland things.
They're going to do Cleveland things. But the one challenge, before I pass it on to you, the one challenge I have for the Cleveland Browns, given the fact that we are past week 1 of the preseason, I dare the Cleveland Browns to take Shedeur Sanders and leave him on the practice squad. I dare them to do it. Since they clearly want to keep him fourth in the quarterback depth chart for whatever reason, please put him on a practice squad and watch what happens. Please.
Yep.
Mine's not any surprise. I'm going Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, Browns. With the one caveat being that if the Bengals can stop getting off to a slow ass start, they could potentially be number 1. But yeah, no surprise there. I don't know if it's a huge take at Bengals at 2.
No, it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
Not with the other teams behind him. Because he said it best. Aaron Rodgers, he's a shadow of what he once was. He's not the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And they just don't have the talent around him either.
Mm-hmm.
They still have a decent defense. But yeah, with Watt and all those guys. But other than that, they don't have much.
No, they don't.
And then Cleveland, they're worse.
4 quarterback. It's just crazy.
Well, 5 if you count Deshaun.
Oh,
yeah.
5 quarterbacks.
Yeah. Just crazy. I have Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, Browns, but I have an asterisk by the Browns. If Shedeur Sanders is the week 1 starter, then I think they're going to finish better than the Steelers. I've been on this Shedeur Sanders bandwagon since he was in Colorado. So I'm not about to get off this train now. If you recall the first podcast episode that we had, I was pounding the table for Shedeur. So if he's the starter, they will finish ahead of the Steelers.
I think he's talented. I just think it's the Browns. They mismanage
Well-
quarterbacks better than any other team in the.
And that's fair, but so they set this dude. In my opinion, they set this dude up to fail.
100%.
I was reading some things about him in training camp that he was only getting 3 reps in practice.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
Yes.
In practice,
Yes.
not with the
Practice.
ones, not with the 2s, but with like the 3s
Threes.
and 4s.
Yeah.
And he's only getting 3 reps. He got like 4 reps, I think, the day before. So they're sugarcoating it, but I think Stephen A. Smith and Unc Shannon Sharp
Shannon Sharp.
is right about this one. But so if look what he did with his opportunity, all that kid, you're not going to phase him. So I think if he's a starter again, I think the Browns will finish ahead of the Steelers
Do you
only
think
because
there's
their
any
defense.
possibility with what you just said that he'll become the starter? If they're not giving him reps, they're not going to start him.
They're trying to find every way not to.
The whole like even the draft for him was weird.
It was.
It's like the whole league had something.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like
it wasn't about him. It was about his dad. They
What-
were trying to send a message to DM.
Mhm.
which is
Stupid.
It's
in my
yeah,
mind.
ridiculous.
yeah, very stupid.
Yeah,
But
dumb.
then what's even worse is the week before they start a preseason game, the owner comes out and says, "Well, it wasn't my choice.
Yeah,
I didn't want him."
this is Barry.
Excuse me?
Or he said, if you would have told me that we were to pick him, I'd have said, no way that's happening.
Yeah.
You're there, man. 2 things. One, that he wasn't going to be available, or 2, and if he was, you
Weren't
weren't
gonna
going to allow him to pick him.
Right.
And he's throwing it all on Barry. Right?
Yeah.
Barry is his name, right?
He's throwing out Andrew Berry, the general manager, but at the same time, the look on their faces when
Yeah.
the pick was made, it was like it gives no indication that is the case.
They look like they saw their mama naked or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and what does that do for that young man who's getting drafted?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Normally you see all the rest of the teams before them are all celebrating, clapping, and all that stuff when they make their picks, and then when it comes to Shador, man,
It's ridiculous. And I will say, I am a Shador Sanders supporter. The video that they had of him when he was going into the preseason game, and he had his crew with him,
yeah.
and he had the music playing behind him. I was like, the only thing I kept saying was, dude, you got to ball out.
You do.
If you doing all this here, you
Yeah.
got to ball out. Now he did. He absolutely did.
Yeah.
And it was very fun being in Canton, watching all the Bears, watching all the Browns fans. Like they were hyped
Yeah.
over there.
But-
And so
But the thing is, though, is hater of facts is that Tom Brady didn't do that.
no,
Patrick
absolutely not.
Mahomes
No,
didn't do that.
Yeah, it
You know what I'm saying?
bothers me. I'm not saying that. Yeah, it bothers me that he does that. Maybe it's just a generational thing. I don't know, but
Or a little bit of his dad rubbed off on him.
that too, right?
Yeah, but he's trying to say that he's legendary now when you haven't done nothing. Your daddy's
Right.
legendary because
Yes.
he did legendary stuff.
yes,
Young man, you are on the path. Just stay focused and the legendary will come.
yes,
And
exactly.
the last point I want to make on that before we transition to the next division is I got a little shame on you, Raiders. I can't believe that we passed on this guy. However, Cam Miller is looking pretty good, but if we can make a trade for Shador Sanders, if he stays on the 4th,
That's what I'm
Raiders
saying.
better do something.
That's
'Cause
what I'm
Tom
saying.
Brady looks like an asshole right now for what he did to Shador.
And I'm saying this too. This might be a little bit of a hot take situation, but if he does get on the practice squad, I demand that my Detroit Lions get him.
Oh,
I demand it because Hendon Hooker looks like straight garbage.
But the thing about it is every team had an opportunity to get him. What he went in the 5th round?
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Every team, all 32 teams could have picked him up.
4
You know,
opportunities.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Actually, you bring up a good point about the Raiders. What is it, the one thing that they really need? I mean, yeah, they got Geno.
Hmm.
But, I mean, do you think he's really the answer?
I think he's a Band-Aid.
I mean,
Right.
he's an upgrade. He's
I
a
think-
bridge
I think he's
quarterback.
our Russell Wilson that was for the Steelers.
Oh, no.
Yeah, man. He's.
No, he's better than
You think so?
Then
Well, yeah,
Russell
his
Wilson-
numbers indicate that he was. You're right. That's
oh
fair.
man, there was a reason why
But-
Denver ran him out. But Geno, he's a bridge quarterback at
Yeah.
best. And I think that the fact that they actually passed on Shador,
mind blowing.
that's mystifying to me. And like you said, he actually went in the 5th round, man. I
Yeah.
mean, how did he actually slip that far? I don't know if there's something about this guy, or if it, like you said, if it's something about his old man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but
Mhm.
I can tell you that whenever you see somebody slip like that, there's
And
something
it's not
wrong.
football related.
Right. It's
Right?
not,
It's
it's not a
not-
skill set problem.
Right. It's not on the field related. I mean, okay, granted that bowl game, I'm sorry, man.
Oh, they look bad.
He looked bad.
Yeah, everybody did.
But that's why you look at tape, right? The
Mhm.
overall tape.
Yeah.
But the traits that he has, it was on display on Saturday
Oh
night.
yeah. He's
I
got,
mean,
he's
it
got
was
talent.
like,
Yeah,
yo, it
for
was
sure.
yeah.
For sure.
You know, but here's the other thing to consider. You know, I mean, how many times? I mean, what round did Tom Brady go in?
Six.
Sixth, yeah.
Yep.
6 or 7.
Okay, and then
But he never got the opportunity to. He didn't display the talent that Shador did.
okay, but my point is that here's another stat.
And he's a 1-year
Which
starter.
pick
actually.
was Trubisky?
He was number one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You see my
was
point?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
So how many of these number one overall quarterbacks have actually tanked versus the ones that have actually been picked up in later rounds?
the numbers are astronomical, but the last 4 years, 5 years, pretty impressive that they're
Well, the jury's still out on Caleb Williams.
like
Mm. Yeah. Well,
you know my thoughts on Caleb Williams. Look, I'm glad he went to USC for a while, but the dude, I don't think he's going to have a successful. Career.
I'll do you another one better. You know who the two of the quarterbacks that went after him?
Mm,
Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix.
mhm.
Those two specifically are going to have astronomically better
Yeah,
seasons than.
because if he doesn't do it this year, what's his excuse?
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how Shador actually cans out.
well,
Yeah.
we'll talk more about Caleb Williams when we get to the NFC North. But
That's going to be a fun one for you,
Yeah.
buddy.
But yeah, just to put a bow on this one, there's one got back from the Hall of Fame, right? And they have a caption on the wall, on one of the walls at the Hall of Fame that says there are more undrafted free agents who are Hall of Famers than number one picks.
That's
Damn, are you serious?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
That's
Yes.
very interesting. I did not know
Wow.
that.
Yes.
That's a crazy cool stat. But
Yes.
then again, there's a hell of a lot more undrafted free agents going into, a season than a number one overall. You got one per year. So,
The last one, shockingly enough, number one overall pick, who is a Hall of Famer, Peyton Manning. That's the last
that's
one.
right. That's right.
That's the last one.
That's the last one.
Dang.
I think I got the picture to prove it, but yes.
That's pretty incredible.
Aaron, wait, what pick was Aaron Donald? Second, third round?
No, he was
Nah,
in the
he
first
was like-
round.
He was in the first round?
He was
But
first
he was
round.
like-
He was like 12 or 13.
Yeah, he was down there.
I was trying to think of who the last guys
and
recently
who
retired.
actually went? I think he went before him, Josh Rosen. Is
Yeah.
he even in the league
Eric
anymore?
Ebron went before him too.
No,
Thanks,
no.
Detroit.
But
Anyway.
let's keep it moving. So we just did the AFC North. What you got? What else you got?
We got the AFC South. This one was a little bit easier, but there's two teams that I kind of went back and forth on. I have number one, the Houston Texans.
Okay.
I think that they got better. And I know I said earlier that the CJ actually took kind of a step back. I think he's going to recover from that because they actually did add some skill positions this year. I think that they need to get Joe Mixon back healthy, because he's already been, proved to be a banger. The number two team, and this is where I got a little bit, and you might disagree with me on this one. I actually have the Colts finishing second. But once again, quarterback
my
play
side
plays a
piece.
big part of it, because, I'm half thinking that Richardson is actually going to be a bust.
He already is.
Like a full-fledged bust, even when he does stay healthy. He just is so indecisive with the football. He's slow to release. He's athletic. He's
Can't
athletic as all
process
get out.
it fast enough.
Yeah.
That's his whole problem. He can't
The
process
game
it
is
fast.
too fast for
I'm
him.
not saying he's dumb. I'm just saying when it comes to football, you have like a second and a half, 2 at most. But that's why the pre-snap read is so important.
Oh, yeah.
And that hit that he got over the weekend, that was his fault. He should have saw that free blitzer coming in. He should have known already based on the formation and the set that it was in.
Yeah.
It was all his fault, and he got injured. And that's indicative of somebody who's only started, 13, 14 college?
Yeah. It was like 14 or 15 games.
Where'd he come
total. Florida.
out? Florida? Yeah.
Yeah.
And look at Mitch Trubisky, same thing. He started, 13,
Same
14
exact thing
games.
happened with him, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why, I'm sorry, I know I cut you off, man, but he's already a bust in my mind. He needs to go to the UFL or the Arena League, learn
Something.
something. Anyway, okay, so you got Houston, or you got the Texans 1, Colts 2.
And then I have the Jags going third. And those are the two teams that I kind of went back and forward on. I think the jury's still out on whether or not Trevor Lawrence is actually going to be
Mhm.
I can't figure that man out.
Wow.
You know, I mean, I think that he's got so much talent, man, and
You sure?
I think so. You know, I mean, he proved it at Clemson.
Come on, Woo Pig. Help me out.
No, he's got talent.
You really?
Yeah.
You still think so?
I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be one of those things. When he ends his career, you're going to look back and be like, man, he was in the league for like 20 years. Like I think at some point he'll.
So he's a Rich Gannon.
Yeah, I think he's that guy that when the Jaguars get tired of him, he's going to continually become that like gap quarterback that like fills that role.
He's never going to be elite.
Exactly. He's never elite, but he's never terrible. He's just
You know, and not only that, but he's had the coaching carousel.
Okay.
You
Something
know,
like that.
Yeah.
and you know, I
Yeah.
mean, just a shift in all the wide receivers, and I mean, he doesn't have any help. He doesn't have Evan Ingram anymore, so he doesn't have a proven tight end. So I don't. That's why I actually had him going down to the third place.
He seems skittish out there though,
He does.
and gun shy.
Well, I think that's
You know what I
a
mean?
lot of part of the offensive line. They have him running for his life.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's fair. Maybe I was too harsh on that. Okay, jury's still out.
Yeah, jury's still out, but
from what I've
so-
seen, he better step on it this year or
Yeah.
something, man.
Oh yeah. Otherwise, something drastic could happen. And then, of course, fourth, I have the Titans. I don't think that they have time to put it together with a new quarterback again.
Well, he's been looking pretty good.
We'll see. I mean, they're going to have their first big test is going to be the first game of the season.
Uh-huh.
I mean, when they're actually going to be playing a no shit legit defense
Uh-huh.
in the Broncos. So, we'll see. I mean, welcome to the NFL, kid.
Right. Put your big boy jockstrap on.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. But those are my four. I got the Texans, the Colts, Jaguars, Titans.
Andrew Facts, what you got?
Well, I am completely different on this. So number one, I got the Jaguars winning the division. Yep. Biggest.
What?
Yeah. I'll get there. But
Okay.
I'll get to the order first. So I got the Jaguars first, the Texans second, Titans third, and the Colts fourth. Now, to start with the Jaguars, I feel like that with the head coach that they just brought in, who who basically got Baker Mayfield paid. Okay, he comes over, and they already have a stud in Brian Thomas Jr. I love him as a wide receiver.
Yep.
And they
I
made
agree with that.
they made the stride. They did a hell of a move to go and get Travis Hunter. Now, I feel like I know they're going to try this whole split offense and defense thing. That'll probably last maybe 3 weeks. He will be primarily as a wide receiver. Now, with someone of his skill set, and all he has to do, he gets a number 2 corner on him, because the number 1 guy is going to be on Brian Thomas. But to have him be able to work a second number 2 corner, not everybody has stud number 2 corners. Denver does, but
Let me interject for a second, man.
Sure.
Look, I love Travis. I think he's a phenomenal human being, phenomenal player.
Yeah.
But he doesn't run routes very well. He's not a crisp route runner. I watched the game and the preseason that he was in, and even in some of the training camps up they had on NFL Network, he's not a crisp route runner. And these corners in the NFL, man, if you don't know how to run your routes crisply, you're not going to get open.
Well, what's the speed?
Well, okay, so
Unless he's doing go routes, sure.
Well,
But-
they said the same thing about DK Metcalf, is my point.
But DK worked on his craft, man.
and he's a physical freak.
Yes.
and the problem is that he's doing 50-50.
Yes.
So it's hard to run routes when you're spending half your time,
Right.
with the defense.
Yeah.
I think Travis Hunter will work if they do like a 90-10.
Yes.
So 90% of the time he's in the wide receiver
Like a
room,
Woodson
and they have,
kind of thing, or
and they have
Camp Bailey.
special packages for
Yeah.
him on
Right.
defense.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because if he's trying to split his time 50-50, he's going to be terrible at both.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
I
'Cause
completely
it's
agree.
the NFL, man.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
college anymore.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? These are professional dudes here that have grown, that are in the league, that got kids and a mortgage, and
I honestly believe they're only advertising that they're going to put him on both sides of the ball just to sell tickets.
that could be it.
Right. But the reality of the NFL will kick in, and they will realize where he needs to be. And you make more money as a wide receiver
True.
than you do a corner.
And
so that's what he's
again,
going
you
to
can
play.
still do it if it's like a 90-10 thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Where it's like,
Yeah.
we got 10 packages on defense that we're going to put you in.
Yep.
Right.
Other than that, you're going to spend the
Right.
majority of your
as a wide
time in the
receiver.
wide receivers.
And here's what
Totally
we
agree.
do know, if we're going to be fair. The dude has earned the right to play on both sides of the ball.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's earned the right. So
Yeah.
let's see what he can do. But again, 90-10. And if you can handle the 90-10, okay, maybe you do 80-20 as the season goes along.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you got to
Yeah.
protect him from himself in the NFL. I'm sorry, dude. It's not like college.
And the final point on the Jaguars here is when it comes down to Trevor Lawrence, we'll talk about
Talk
this.
to me nice now. Come on.
Now, it's time to put up or shut up.
There we go.
It's time. Now I'm going to put
That's what
I'm
I'm
putting a
saying.
list together of the top 5 dudes that I'm putting on the put up or shut up list, and he's right up there. I don't know if he's number 1. I'm still working
You're
that
going
out.
to have me speaking in tongues in a second.
But that dude needs to. He's already being. Honestly, outside of Urban Meyer, I would still label him a coach killer, because you had a Super Bowl winning head coach. You got him up out of there.
Yeah.
Okay. And now you're on a guy who has resurrected another quarterback who's basically been a journeyman. Okay.
Yep.
So now he's bringing innovation to the offense. He's bringing that to you. You're supposed to be the prince that was promised. And right now we have to call you by your government name because you haven't proven anything. Okay. So,
Wow.
which leads to the Texans. Now, defensively, stout. Every single position group on defense, they are stout. The problem is, I don't understand why they've given away their offensive line, even after they got beat up last year. I forget how many. I forgot to write down how many sacks C.J. Stroud took. It wasn't as many as Caleb Williams, but it was still up there. And to solve the problem, you took your very highly paid left tackle and you let him go. You let him walk. I don't remember if they traded him away or not, but you still let him go. Makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
So between that, Joe Mixon is hurt right now, so that stinks. They still need to prove who's going to be that backup running back. Nick Chubb, even though they signed him, he's not the same Nick Chubb. And the biggest reason why he's there is because he's good in pass protection. So that pretty much tells you how his effectiveness will be. Nico Collins is a stud, but now you have 2 rookies behind him, and Christian Kirk is Christian Kirk. So between that, I feel like
He's still in the league.
Yeah, he's still in the league. So between that, I feel like that will give just enough of a bump for the Jaguars, probably by a division game or 2, to overtake them. And as far as Tennessee goes, I absolutely love Cam Ward. We talked about this, I believe, in the first episode, the conversation that he had with Shador, and they
Mhm.
were practicing with each other.
Yep.
And he's just said, I'm focused on football. I don't do any nothing. I don't do no side hustles. I don't do none of that stuff. I just play football. And I'm just on tape, you know. And that really struck a chord with me. It stuck with me. And the interviews that he has had since then has been nothing but focus. He doesn't mince words, which I absolutely love, and he's willing to put the team on his back. And so I think they will surprise some people. Defensively, I don't know how they are, but I just think that the heart that he brings in there, I think is gonna pay dividends for them early. And then the Colts, yeah. But
What was it that Ash on Army of the Dead actually said? Honey, you got real ugly.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
that basically describes the Colts quarterback situation. So
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
yeah, so yeah, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none, and if you have 2 quarterbacks that stink, you really don't have any. And so yeah, you could put as many talented tight ends as you want, but it really doesn't matter if your quarterback can't get the ball out. So yeah. So that's the AFC South in my opinion. But yeah, I feel like the Jaguars can take that division this year.
It's a hot take there, man.
I got some holes to poke in that, but I'll wait.
All right, I think you're out of your flipping mind. I think it's the Texans on top. I think it's CJ Stroud hate that's coloring your mind because I stole him from both of you in our
I didn't want
in our league.
I wanted Addison
Oh, I know you
all
picked,
day long.
you picked him, and then I got to
Right.
pick CJ.
So you didn't steal him
And-
from me. You stole him from Rico.
Well, Rico traded up because either way,
That's another story for
another story. Mr. I'm not a test taker. I'm a football player. I'm a big fan of. Okay, I think
didn't come to college for school.
yeah, that's right. He didn't, but he could throw that damn ball. So I love me some CJ Stroud. I think they got a great defense. So I put them at number 1. Then I got the Jags. From what you said, I like the new offensive coordinator. I do think Trevor Lawrence is a good enough quarterback that he'll be in the league for a long time. I don't think he's elite, but I think he's good enough to put him at 2nd. and then you got the Colts, and then the Titans who are in full rebuild mode. So
Okay.
Well, I'd have to agree with you. I think he's out of his flipping mind. I'm gonna check that Gatorade because he's drinking something.
Tastes
Texans are gonna win that division, period. But now here, the Colts, they're gonna finish dead last. Dead last.
great. Okay, so we're in agreement.
Yep, because they're gonna try to go for a new
wait,
quarterback.
no, you said Titans last.
Oh, no. I said Colts last.
I said the Titans last.
Angie
Yeah,
Joy
because
said
they're in
Titans
full
last.
rebuild mode.
Huh?
They're completely in rebuild mode.
They might be, but again,
I don't think they want to win games right now.
they might be in rebuild, but they're better than the Colts.
Okay.
They are. I mean, they are because but I think they're going to tank for Nussmeier, LSU quarterback.
Nussmeier.
Nussmeier. That's it. I think they're going to tank for him because I don't think Arch is coming out this year. If he's smart, he won't. He'll stay in
Archie-
another 2 years.
Archie already said he ain't coming out.
Good.
So when
So
Granddaddy speak, I listen.
I think they're going to go for summer. But as far as the Texans, and then I got the Jags finishing second, Titans, and then Colts. So that's it. Actually, man, that whole division is shitty if you think about
Outside
Agreed.
the Texans, yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
shitty.
even then, I think that it's kind of a shadow of some of these others, like the
Mhm.
AFC North, the AFC West.
it. Yeah, it's
you
it's,
know, I
it's
mean,
a shitty
it's-
division, dude. It's probably one of the worst divisions. Oh, maybe the second worst. But okay, so we covered the AFC East, AFC North, AFC South.
And we did the AFC West
Yeah, we're done with
last
AFC.
pod.
Yeah, we did.
So we're done with the
last
AFC. Let's see. And if we're given a chance to, do some tweaking, I mean, based on what we see with some of the preseason games, especially this next preseason game that's coming up.
It's fluid.
It is. It is. I mean, and what is
Or
it
at
they
least
say?
for this month, it's fluid.
And what is it they say? Any given Sunday, you just never know. That's why they play the game.
That's right. Shout out
So
Stephen A.
started
Smith.
off with the NFC East.
Okay.
I think this one is pretty easy, really. I have the Eagles going first once again until you can't be the best if you can't beat the best.
Right. Yeah.
So, and now we'll kind of go back to what we were saying about the so-called sophomore slump. Well, we're about to find out this year, because they have two premier quarterbacks that are entering their sophomore year, in my estimation. Well, and that would be, of course, Bo Nix. I think that he actually has a better chance of success because he's actually been in the league longer
Okay.
and he's more of a cerebral quarterback. But I
Quit
think
playing with my balls and just tell me who's number 2.
Oh my gosh.
Who's number 2?
but you have such shiny curly.
That's a
No, I was
Tropic
going at
Thunder
with
reference
this
that nobody
is
knows.
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels.
I want to
okay.
see, so
Commanders?
I actually have the Commanders next, but this is where I want to see, I mean, if that sophomore slump thing is truly a thing.
Okay.
Because we've kind of gone back and forth on this. What's the difference? Bo Nix, he actually had better numbers than Jaden Daniels in the stretch. He had better numbers,
Sore
and
subject with me.
he had. Oh, I'm sure it is, Raider fan.
Yeah.
Um,
No, well, I owe him a bottle of Shea 45,
that's right. That's
which I
right.
still can't find, by the way, bro. So if you find it and you get it, let me know. I'll give you the money. Not a
Okay. All right.
Because remember, it was Rookie of the Year. I thought Bo Nix was going to get it, and just this much.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, there's an argument to be had.
Yeah.
I mean, he was. I think it was between.
I think he lost because he was white.
well, Brock Bowers.
Reverse
he actually,
discrimination, man.
he actually got second. Bo Nix got third.
I'll edit that out. Don't worry about it. I'm just kidding.
but yeah,
Coward.
I really want to see.
I was gonna say, just take your L, man. Don't be trying to blame other stuff. Just take your L.
Sorry, Joey. Go ahead,
You were wrong.
Joey.
So we could actually have another bet going on this one. Who's going to do better their sophomore year? Bo Nix or Jaden Daniels?
Jaden Daniels.
Okay. I would actually go Bo Nix on that.
I'm going to go Bo Nix as well.
Well,
I love
I'm
the
not
draft
going to go
picks.
against Bo Nix.
I love Sean Payton.
I just like Jaden Daniels.
Oh, he's awesome.
But if Gary Terry ain't there,
No, I mean, I like Bo Nix too.
Oh, if they lose, okay, so that's going to be a bad
Mhm.
thing if they can't figure out how to get Terry back in there.
mhm.
Because I mean, here's the thing. Rico and I were talking about this, and if they lose McLaurin, they are going to double team the hell out of Debo.
yeah.
Yes.
And
Well, hold on. Are we saying which quarterback is going to have the most wins, or which quarterback's going to have the best statistics? Because
let's think about
Jaden Daniels at Washington, their defense is made out of paper mache, so he's going to be having to sling the ball all over the yard. They're going to be in a lot of shootouts. Bo Nix, not necessarily the same thing.
We'll see. We'll see.
So if we're just going off statistics, I'm going to say Jaden Daniels. If we're going off wins, maybe it's Bo Nix.
Maybe. I know I kind of went down this rabbit hole, but anyway.
Well, so say the Broncos for the next division. How about that? And we'll tackle that.
Yeah.
But so right now you have Eagles, Commanders. So where does that leave the Cowboys and the Giants?
Well, I have the Cowboys going next. I still
At 3?
think, yeah, because I think they're going to suck just a little bit less than the Giants. With Russell Wilson throwing the ball, at least Dak Prescott, and they actually got some upgrades.
So you have Cowboys fourth.
No, I have the Cowboys. I think the Giants are going to suck just a little bit more.
Oh,
Right.
you said
Yeah,
less.
Oh, did I say that's my bad? Yeah, I think that the Cowboys and then the Giants, just because the Giants, they're a shit show right now, as far as I can tell, and Russell Wilson, he is not the answer. I think that Dak, he's got better tools around him now, but they're still not going to be able to compete with the Commanders and the Eagles.
I'm biting my tongue. I'll wait.
The only difference I have is I have the Dallas Cowboys finishing last.
Yeah, me too.
Again, the entertainment entity that is the Dallas Cowboys can't help themselves and not being focused on what's important. And that's because of old man Jerry Jones. And as long as old man Jerry Jones caters himself to being the top of the headline all the time and for completely unnecessary things, they will continue to shoot themselves in the foot. Brian Schottenheimer is a dud of a head coach.
Why you say that?
Because I'm glad you brought that up, sir. You see, if people are trying to hang on to what he did as Seattle's head coach, or as Seattle's offensive coordinator, this is going back about 6 years. He did have successful seasons. The problem is, each one of those successful seasons, he had a top 5 running game, and their defense was top 10. In those three instances where their team was actually successful and their offense was successful. Well, now you come to the Dallas Cowboys, you have no idea. Their secondary is not that great. And their best player, more or less their best defender, right now he wants money, and he can't get it. And they lost to Marcus Lawrence. So you have no idea right now who their starting edge rushers are right now.
Well, and not only that, but if they actually lose Parsons.
Right, that's what I mean.
Oh, man.
So right now,
They ain't losing.
and the fact-
Parsons.
and the simple
Jerry
fact,
hasn't for the next 3 years.
okay, but here's the problem. If he has the resume right now where he should be able to write his own check, let's just be real.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But Jerry, on purpose, even though he knows he's going to pay him, but he won't do it just because they want headlines. So now that forces Parsons to not focus on the team where he should, because he needs to get his bag. And it's completely understandable for him, right? So now he's sitting out. What does that mean normally? If somebody sits out from training camp and preseason, what normally happens? Soft tissue injuries. That's what normally happens. So in this case, just more 80% scenario, he signs them in the last minute. So then the headline is, because it's Dallas Cowboys versus Philadelphia Eagles week 1, right? So everybody's going to be talking about they're the defending champs. What is the one thing that Jerry wants? He wants headlines. So what's the bigger headline week 1? Oh, the Cowboys signed Michael Parsons to $45 million a year or something, whatever it is. But now he's going to be, he's not going to be like fully lathered up, to make a better term, because he hasn't played any preseason snaps.
What?
Whoa.
Boy, don't just move past that. What?
Listen,
What?
listen.
What?
Let's not
I'm
add
trying to-
that.
I'm
to
just
the-
I'm just saying,
Do you want me to edit that shit out?
yeah.
whatever. Look,
Oh,
the
no,
point
that-
is,
That
I
makes
don't want
for
any
some
of my
good,
football
wholesome-
players lathered up. That's just
Yeah.
I didn't ask you to repeat it.
That's
Anyway.
a big, strong, lathered
Oh,
up
dude, you
football
got to
player
keep
right
that.
there.
Man. I mean,
Oh my God. Anyway.
adds to some really good
You know what? Everybody has their moments. on the
home
show.
entertainment right there.
Yeah, everybody has their moments. But anyway, the point is, he won't have had any time with his new teammates for this going season, and you're expecting him to perform against the defending champions on week 1 when they're getting their rings. I'm sorry, That's a recipe for disaster. And it's just all it's going to do is just snowball and snowball and snowball.
Okay.
To and unfortunately, it means that the Giants will have a better record than them, which pisses them off because they want as high of a pick as possible because they need as much talent as possible. Now, I will say this about the Giants: their defensive line. Oh my God,
their front seven.
yeah. I mean, dude, the one thing you can't have is a weak offensive line.
Mhm.
And the last time I checked, the Dallas Cowboys just lost a key piece. So now just imagine, I think they played in week 2,
Yep.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And so you got Thibodeau, you got
Mhm.
Brian Burns, you got I forgot what
Carter.
Abdul Carter,
Mhm.
and you had, I forgot the Dexter Lawrence.
Yep.
Those 4 dudes, oh my God.
Just by themselves.
Oh my God.
But they also have some nice young corners as
Yeah.
well. So you're taking what I was going to say is the reason why I think the Cowboys are going to finish last.
Yeah.
I actually think, I'm sorry, I skipped over Woo Pig. What you got before I finish?
Yeah, it's real easy. I'm with Joey. I think it's Eagles, Commanders, Cowboys, Giants. I wish I could pick the Washington to finish first, but unfortunately, I think the Eagles got it. As far as the Cowboys, they've got the issues you're talking about, but they're solid at quarterback. Giants aren't, and they have an offensive line that's.
Did you say solid at quarterback?
They've got
serviceable at least.
they've
He's
more than serviceable.
Well, and not only
He's a
that, but
Kirk
they just
Cousins.
they got CD.
He's just a light-skinned Kirk Cousins.
I'm not saying he's a
He's-
world beater,
He's
but
a $60 million
but he's
a year quarterback. You give him his respect.
Shit.
but he's a stable position that they've
Okay.
had there for years.
That's fair, 100%.
Yeah.
But how do you quantify stable? Regular season? And
Well, we're not talking about Super Bowl here. We're just talking
I'm talking about
record of the year.
playoffs. Just playoffs.
Plus,
in
it's the
general.
Cowboys. The Cowboys always do this. They get right up. They hit that middle ground where they're not
beautiful.
bad enough to get a great draft pick, and they're not good enough to get into the playoffs, or they barely get in and lose in the first round. That's their MO, and they're going to do that again this year, which means I got Giants last.
Okay. What did you want to finish? it
Oh
up?
yeah.
And
So
I'll-
the order I have is Philadelphia, Washington, the Giants, and the Cowboys.
Okay. Anything else on that before I throw my 2?
Just that I will say, as far as the Eagles will still win the division, but my prediction is at some point during the season there will be regret from Saquon Barkley for not being able to break the rushing record from last year. That story will
He
come.
got a Super Bowl. Why would he care about that? Rushing records don't get you Super Bowls.
I'll tell you what. I was at the Hall of Fame, and they have a display for
Jim Brown,
yes, but they also have one for
Lewis,
for
Tomlinson.
no. Rams.
Chris Johnson,
No,
Eric Dicker.
Eric Dixon.
Eric
Thank
Dixon.
you.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I was thinking
have-
of 2,000-yard plus rushers is why I was saying
right,
all those
but
names.
but Eric Dickerson has the record, and so they have like his famous goggles, his uniform, all that stuff.
Okay.
And I stood there, I looked at it, I was like, dude, that should be Saquon right there. It should be Saquon.
I don't think he gives a damn.
Do you think he would prefer that record or Super Bowl?
Super
He
Bowl
could have had both.
doesn't matter. He has
That's
could
not
have
what
both.
I asked, sir. That's
He
not
would've
what
had both.
That's not what I asked.
He
Do
would
you think if he had to choose, would
I
he
know-
choose a
I
record
know what
or a Super Bowl title?
I know what the political answer
Not a
is.
political
The
answer.
political
No, it's not
answer is
political at
yes.
all.
The answer is
For now on, every podcast he does, every interview he does, they're going to introduce him as Super Bowl champion Saquon Barkley.
yes.
They're going to
But-
call him champ.
Yes.
And he still had 2,000 yards.
He still had 2,000, but he was less than 100 yards away from breaking the record. He could have easily done that week 18. He would
It don't
easy.
matter. Okay.
The Giants already gave up on the season. He would have been there for like a half. He would have broke it,
All right.
no problem.
Let me ask you a question.
Or he could have blown an ACL.
No.
Yeah, I was going to
Okay,
say,
come on
what,
now.
what
Emmitt
if he's
Smith,
about 50 yards
Barry
into it, and then
Sanders.
all of a sudden he gets hurt?
Who's the better running back?
Barry Sanders, 100%.
Why is that?
Skill set, the team that he had around him versus what Emmett had. I mean, I just hands down. I know the overall numbers, and believe me, I looked at that display case too, and I'm like, everything should have an asterisk by it for Emmitt Smith's name that says the only reason why you
Mhm.
have this record is because Barry Sanders
Hey.
retired.
Yes. Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith.
Between them two,
Mhm.
Walter Payton,
Jim Brown, Emmitt Smith.
Jim Brown.
Okay. So the only reason why Emmitt Smith is even in the conversation is because of the Super Bowls. Would you
Sure.
agree?
Well, I think it's the opposite. I think because of the running back position, I think he's more associated with the record that he has than he does with the Super Bowls.
No. That's not true. Because he did help them win at least their first 2. That's not true.
I'm not
But
saying he
they
did.
they did have like, I mean, I hate talking about the Cowboys, but
Yeah.
the offensive line was amazing. He was amazing. He was a good running back, but those Super Bowls are the only reason why, and no disrespect to Emmitt Smith, I'm sure he'll take this as disrespect, is the only reason why his name is up there with those guys. Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, Jim Brown are by far better running backs than they ever. Marshall Faulk, better running back than Emmitt Smith ever was. Longevity is something to be said about it.
But
you ain't
having,
gonna LeBron James this, bro. You're not gonna be the GOAT just because you played 22 years.
I completely understand.
You get what I'm saying? Okay, so
I
that's all the
understand.
point that I'm making
Yeah,
about.
I'm just saying, like, but there are particular milestones that are legendary, right?
Nothing
The
with
Russian, but like the Russian record is like what 35, 40 years old at this point, and it's not very often where someone has a chance to actually
They're
break
also
that record.
playing
Though.
18 games, so it doesn't mean as much as it did back then.
But that's all. But see,
Dickerson did it in how many games?
I think 14. I want to say. I think the league was like
Even if
14.
you said 14, there's 3 extra games, 3 extra chances that Saquon Barkley have. The record doesn't mean as much if it was 30, 40 years ago.
Exactly. And there's no statistic that's going to outbeat a ring.
Yeah.
Because what happens if 3 years from now some new phenom comes in and breaks your record? They're going to completely forget about yours, but nobody can ever take that ring from him.
That's right.
Ever.
But that's why I
right.
brought up the fact that the Russian record still stands today, 30 years later, 30 plus years later.
Again, it doesn't
his point
mean
is,
as
it's
much
just,
as it did. I mean, I hate saying this because it does mean a lot. But what I'm saying is in today's league, because of the extra games, because of the rule changes, it's not as special as it was. And you know what? I can go one further. Jim Brown, right?
Yeah.
When he was setting those records and doing those things, when then Eric Dickerson came along and did it, it doesn't mean as much because back then they didn't play that many games. It's still important. It's just not on the same level. That's all I'm saying. And it sounds bad to say that.
I hear you, but I'm just thinking is as part of how special that the Eagles specifically, their season was. The fact that Saquon was, let's be honest, he was the reason that they were able to get over the top. That and their defense, because their defensive line is.
And Jalen making his clutch throws.
Yes. But to me, the a-hole of a head coach that they have cost him the opportunity to really have the icing on the cake of a very magical season. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Duly
Has
noted.
he come out and complained about that?
No, he has not. But I'm saying.
What if he went to him and said, "Hey man, this is what I'm thinking. I'm wanting to sit you. I understand you're close. If you really want to do it, but we want to set you out and get you ready so you can get a Super Bowl." What if he was okay with that?
But again, regrets can happen, right? Here's the thing. What if they, knock on wood, let's just say if Saquon has a devastating injury and he's never the same. Like, immediately after. Does he look back and say, I shot that record?
No, he
That
looked
record
back
should
and
be
said, I got
mine.
a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I got a ring.
Okay.
I could tap that table pop, 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 with that ring.
Yep.
Okay. I just feel like they would have had both.
Damn, a record. You know, look.
A ring and a record, like, cool.
No.
You know?
No. What's the goal? To run the most yards, or is it to win the Super Bowl?
Are you well,
The ultimate goal is always to get that ring.
but yeah,
Yes,
but look
it
at the
is.
disrespect the running back position has even right now.
And why did it get that way?
Because the owners feel like the running back position is replaceable.
the
Easily
emphasis
replaceable.
has been devalued.
Yes, it's been devalued, but there are exceptions to that rule.
Why
And
has it
Saquon
been
is one of them.
devalued? Because of the way the game has changed, right? It's no longer about
Sure.
running backs mostly. It's about, can I throw this ball 60 yards and hit that wide receiver, on a go route? It's about 40 points a game. It's no longer about defense and running game, except for when it comes into playoffs and, Super Bowl, that's when it should show up. But people aren't tuning in to see. Most people will say they would complain about a defensive game. I love defensive games. 3
Oh,
to 9.
I would also say that they do more, run by committee.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
and
100%.
They have a stable of running backs instead of like one bell cow. So I don't know if it's necessarily that the position isn't used anymore.
Yep.
It's just that
It's used differently.
you don't need that dude that can do 2,000 yards
Right.
a season when you can get 3 dudes that split that
Yeah.
number up.
Yeah, remember, man. So getting 1,000 yards in this NFL season used to be a big freaking deal.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's
And
completely
then it
fair.
went to
Yeah.
getting 1,500.
Right.
Right. And so now that they add the games, it doesn't mean as much. Not saying it's not as important, but it just doesn't mean as much. So, but let me wrap a bow on this. I agree. I have the Eagles going 1. I have the Commanders going 2. The Giants going 3. Cowboys going last. Now, I will say that the Giants are going to be my dark horse for that division. And here's why. Because of that front 7. That's why. And if Jackson Dart plays like
Wait a
he
minute.
did.
Wait a minute. I just need you on the record one more time.
What's up?
You're saying that the Giants are a threat to take the division?
I said dark horse. That doesn't mean guarantee. It wouldn't surprise me if it happened.
There are no lights in that house.
Dude.
That's dark.
What?
No, there's no lights.
Okay. I'm glad we're on record. So, but I'm saying, man, with that defense and with a serviceable quarterback,
And
and
a
if they
paper mache
decide,
offensive line.
if they put Jackson Dart in there, and they
Yeah,
also have, a pretty decent wide receiver by the name of Malik Neighbors, and
He's a stud,
I'm just saying they got a nice chance.
but their schedule is brutal, though.
At worst, I would say they finish better than the Commanders. Maybe they don't take over the Eagles, but if I'm picking them as a dark horse, I would almost bet $20 that they'd finish better than the Commanders.
But you just said that there's a possibility, there's a high possibility, or I don't know if it's a high possibility, but you're speaking the fact of the Commanders finishing below the Giants. So put it in your rankings then.
Yeah.
No.
But, come on, man.
You can't
Put
say
it on wax.
Listen, it's called my rankings for a fucking reason. Okay. Now let's move on.
Have some conviction, man.
Let's move on.
All
It's my rankings for a reason. So we got NFC East.
All right, so moving on.
We got-
Finally, good God. Didn't realize they're going to be talking about the fucking Cowboys for that long.
Well, actually, we weren't talking about the Cowboys.
No, more of the Giants.
Or even that whole division, man. I can't stand that division.
Yep.
All right, so the next one is the NFC North. Now, this one might surprise some people because this is my so-called dark horse.
Surprise.
But
bit.
in this case, I had the balls to actually write it down.
Speak on it. Speak on it, Angry Joey. Speak on it. Say it one more time for the people in the back.
So number one, I actually have the Minnesota Vikings actually taking the division. And, I know that's going to I'm probably going to get some shade for that one, but I just, I think that they're going to be a surprise team. I really do. And then next, but obviously, and then Detroit, it's going to be a toss up between those two. I think, don't get me wrong. It's not going to shock me if Detroit actually ends up winning the division, just because they have too many tools. And I freaking love their head coach, man. I mean, they play with so much grit and, they just have balls for days, man, these guys. But nevertheless, I still see the Vikings actually taking the division. Next, I have the Packers. I don't know, man. I don't mean to, throw any problems at Jordan Love, but I am not a fan. I don't know. I think he's a little bit overhyped for me. And then, of course, last I have the Chicago Bears. I just don't think that they're ready yet.
Go Bears.
But those are my rankings for the NFC North.
Okay, well, it might come as a surprise from no one. I have the Lions winning the division, but I do have the Vikings finishing second. And it has nothing to do with, go blue or anything like that, but I just think that the talent that McCarthy has, along with that, the rest of the offense as a whole, and McConnell as a play caller, I respect it, and I respect them. So I put them in a narrow competition between the two of them. Now, of course, the Lions finished with 15 wins. The Vikings finished with 14 last year. Neither one will be repeated, but the respect that both Vegas has for the division and the respect that I have for both of those teams, I feel like they'll still finish in double digits, but not 15 and 14. It won't take that to actually win the division.
I didn't think I'd ever hear myself say this, but, I have a lot of respect for the Detroit's ownership, too. They dug them out from the grave.
Indeed.
I think that that's why they were bottom feeders for so long, was because they just didn't have good ownership. I don't think. Now you have, what's her name, actually running the show, and she's
Sheila Ford.
She actually, I don't know, gives a shit about a team that she owns.
Yeah.
So I think that's admirable too.
And to finish it out, I have the Packers and I have the Bears finish it last. But I will say this, and this is just a small gripe that I need to put out there. I don't understand NFL beat writers and everybody else who gets to vote on these end-of-year awards. I don't understand how a team that has a better record and was able to defeat the team that actually won Coach of the
Sounds
Year.
like you have an Alamo minute.
Are we doing that today?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what? I'll save it. Okay, but the Packers, I'll just say they're just mid. Like their receiving core is just mid. Even with Matthew Golden, they just predicate themselves on being mid. And so Jordan Love, I'm like you. I don't understand the hype behind him.
Yeah.
I feel like he was a 1-year wonder, and even in this, wasn't even a whole year. It was like a half a year of superb play, and of course they beat the Cowboys, so that got him paid. So thanks, Jerry Jones. You got another guy paid, not your own guy. And as far as Chicago goes, little quick thing about Caleb. Caleb is in his third offensive system in his entire career. The first two was Lincoln Riley with Oklahoma and USC. Then he goes and he has Shane Waldron, who was a complete other bum, but he said they wouldn't punt. That's what Caleb said. So, of course, his ego had to get smashed. And him wallowing on the ground and all those types of things.
So explain that a little bit more about what he was actually boasting. The fact that they won't punt. The fact that they never were going to be in a position to.
Yeah, they were going to score so many points that they would never punt. That is the words from Caleb Williams as a rookie.
Yeah,
before coming into the league, man. Before his first practice.
Yeah, absolutely.
The hubris to say something like that. I mean, here's a little stat that I actually pulled down. Do people even realize how difficult it is to actually get into the NFL? Okay, so, NCAA participants roughly have over 77,000 players that actually play. Now, there's obviously going to be a higher... I'm sorry?
77,000 that play football.
Yes, that play NCAA football. Of those, approximately 1,700 actually get into, or 17,000 actually get into the league.
Damn.
That is a 1.5% chance that people even make a team.
Wow. Assuming practice squad.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's including everything.
To get an NFL check.
And then to be elite or to be a number one pick.
You got to be
I mean,
the
the odds are astronomical.
Yeah.
So for this kid to actually make that kind of a boast, the ball's on him. What is he thinking?
Oh,
NIL.
They whooped his ass for it, though.
Oh, yeah. What did he think was going to happen? If you're an Aaron Donald beating down on this kid, he's looking to smoke his ass.
Barbecue chicken.
Oh, my God. Well, let's think about it, though. Remember, he said that it would take... No, I got that completely wrong. But the fact that he had the nerve to say that the coaches did not tell him what he should study on tape.
Why should they have to tell him anything?
Exactly. You're the number one overall pick. What do you mean? But the fact that he actually allowed those words to come out of his mouth made like trying to put the blame on the coaching staff. Now, to be fair, the head coach and Shane Waldron, the offensive coordinator, were trash. But at the same time, the fact you're gonna come out there and say they never told you what to study, excuse me? Yeah. Coming from your number one overall pick?
Oh, and reminder, you are a number one pick for a reason. Going
Right.
to a shit team.
Right. And quite frankly, to bring back to the point of the two systems that he came accustomed to, one Lincoln Riley, other Shane Waldron, and now he gets Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson don't play that. He likes to run around. He likes to sauce and whatever, just run out the pocket and do all those types of things. No, Ben Johnson wants you to play in structure. Matter of fact, DJ Moore came out in an interview during training camp, and he said that Ben Johnson will throw you out of practice if you're even 2 steps outside the line where you're supposed to be. If you're not even lined up correctly, you're out. Now, so to me, and this is just another prediction right now for week 1, they're going to get their asses whipped by the Vikings. Because they play them
the Vikings are going to smoke
they'll beat the bricks off of him. If he can't read defenses now he has to go up in the first week. He has to go up against Brian Flores and the way he likes to mix up coverages. Oh, my God.
It's a wrap.
Yeah. Now the question is how long he's going to stay on the ground when he actually sack him. That's the question. Because if he still stays on the ground for 30 seconds like he did last year, yeah, Ben Johnson's going to eat his lunch. So
Absolutely.
So Lions, Vikings, Packers, Bears.
I hate this one. Don't tell Rico I said any of this. No, I'm just kidding. He's sitting right beside me. Yeah, it's Lions, Vikings, Packers, Bears, and I have to agree. I freaking love the Lions coach. That dude is awesome.
Yes, he is.
So, and you like you said, the ownership's good. It's I can't see anybody passing them up. And he's the kind of coach you want to like run through a brick wall for. So
Absolutely.
it just makes me sick to my stomach. I have to say that, so.
The Lions are drafting your player, sir. Woo Pig Suey.
Well, that's just because they know talent.
We had a legend extra. Oh, you know what? Just a side note, though. Shout out to Arkansas because,
you see that like 70-yard kick?
he was Arkansas too?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was Arkansas.
I didn't know about that. But
Was he
Frank,
really?
but Frank Ragnow, he just retired, Arkansas alum. I think he's a Hall of Famer. Honestly, I really do. I don't know if he'll get in, but he's a Hall of Famer in my eyes, and an absolute warrior. So, and now we picked up another one with Isaac Tesla. He's been looking good. So, shout out to y'all.
So as much as I want to pull against the Lions, they make it impossible not to pull for them. So Lions, Vikings, Packers, Love, I think is in kind of the same situation as Lawrence. This is like his put up or shut up year.
Okay.
He just needs to get off the pot and prove that he's worth the money they're paying him. So, yeah, so pretty simple. Lions, Vikings, Packers, Bears.
Yeah, Lions, Vikings, Packers, Bears here as well. No surprise picks. I think the Lions are going to run away with the division. I think the Vikings are probably going to finish maybe 10, 11 wins, but the Lions are still going to get it. Okay, we got to kind of accelerate a little bit, so let's go to the next division.
So the next one is the NFC South. This one, it's outside Tampa Bay. I think it's kind of a crapshoot. Now, Atlanta, they could actually make a bit of a case. I think that they got a little bit better. I think 1 year under Bijan is going to be good, and maybe we'll see what Penix does. If he can actually revive Kyle Pitts' career. Because so far he's been a bust.
Sorry.
Yeah. I felt you throw up in your mouth a little bit. Just okay, and then the next one I have Carolina. Geez, man, we'll see. Bryce Young. He actually. I don't think he's quite there as far as the put up and shut up type thing, but he's getting there. I think that he showed a lot of improvement at the end of the year last year, but we'll see.
I think he's in a Trevor Lawrence kind of situation with coordinators
Possibly.
and shit.
But I think that he's been in a carousel as well, and then there for the longest time he's also been. He's had some injuries too, but I still see them as better than the Saints. Because I think the Saints, they're going to be in 100% rebuild mode this year. I think that they're going to be bad. So I got Tampa, Atlanta, Carolina, New Orleans.
Yeah, we differ a lot here. Number one, let's get this out the way. The New Orleans Saints are trash can juice. Simple, point blank.
In the middle of July.
Yeah. I have the Bucks finishing third here.
What?
Yeah. Again, I say it with my chest. I have Carolina finishing second. I have Atlanta taking the division. So, quite simply, the changing of offensive minds for Baker Mayfield, I think, will finally catch up with him. He's changing coordinators for the third straight year. And I think Liam Cohen, who is now the head coach of Jacksonville, and the story behind that real quick, he actually turned down the job initially for the Jaguars until they fired the general manager the next day. And as soon as that happened, he pulled chalk and he left and went to Jacksonville. Very interesting story. So with Carolina, I just feel like Bryce Young, the way he has looked the last few games and the way he's looked in preseason so far, I feel like he's about to show that he actually is a number one overall pick at quarterback and far better than Caleb Williams. And as far as Atlanta goes, I just think they just got too much talent, especially on offense. Way too much. It's about time. It's put up or shut up for the entire team, not just for Michael Penix. But
yeah.
I just feel like they have to do better. I feel like the draft picks that they made for at defensive end is going to pay dividends for them. And I just think that is that time for them to show up and show out. They'll win the division, but Carolina will be close behind them. I think Tampa Bay will take a slightly step back. the loss of Christian Wirfs at left tackle is definitely going to hurt them as well. And like I said, trash can juice will stay trash can juice. And unfortunately, they want Arch Manning. They'll finish first, but Arch Manning won't be waiting for them. So there's that.
I want whatever's in that Gatorade bottle. Now, so I've got the Bucks, the Falcons, the Panthers, the Saints. In Baker we trust. I love Baker Mayfield. They're my dark horse to at least make the division championship. And
Division or conference?
division.
Okay. That's not really much of a dark horse. They're favorites.
I'm sorry, no, conference. I'm sorry, conference. Yeah, conference. They're going to make the conference championship, not division. Sorry.
Wow.
But
That's all right.
That's bold.
yeah,
That is.
I think they're good. It does hurt that they lost their offensive coordinator, but I don't know. Maybe it's a homer pick. I like Baker Mayfield, and then it's the Falcons, the Panthers. You had the Panthers number one.
No, I got them finishing second. I got Atlanta finishing first.
Yeah, they were.
But you
terrible.
put Tampa Bay in third.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure did.
The Panthers are terrible, and then like you said, Saints last. Yeah, they're
At least we're
I
in
mean,
agreement there.
race to the bottom with those two teams. You know what I mean?
absolutely yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, I have Bucks 1, Falcons 2, and the rest don't fucking matter. That's what I have. All right. Let's go to the next. What we got
Very
one more.
well said. Okay. Finally, we have the NFC East. Or West, excuse me. I beg your pardon. All right. So this one, I did another little bit of a hot take here, and I'm sure I'm going to get some people to disagree with me on this one. But I did notice that the Seahawks and the Rams actually had identical records last year, and that in even divisional games, they actually had the same exact record.
This is a tough division.
This is a tough division. You know, I think that I think the Cardinals are going to be better. San Francisco is going to take a step back, I think, but they still got the defense.
Okay, so who do you got?
So what I have is the Seahawks winning it, and then I have the Rams, which those two I can find interchangeable, because their records were identical last year. And once again, I think that the only reason why I can't remember if the Rams actually swept the Seahawks in the division, but they had the same exact divisional records. So, that one was very tough for me to pick, but I went with the Seahawks and then the Rams and then the Cardinals. Kyler Murray, he's hard for me to trust. I think that man's going to get killed one of these days if he loses a step.
Yeah, for sure.
If he loses a step, he's done, and he needs to figure out something outside of Trey McBride.
Yeah,
they don't have anybody else really to throw it to. Then the 49ers, I have them going last just because I think that they're going to be rebuilding after losing some considerable things. They got
lucky Tony's not here.
Oh, I know he'd be letting me have it.
Yeah.
But I think that the 49ers, Christian McCaffrey, he's his playing style just makes him get hurt. And then they lose Debo. So and then Brock Purdy, I think he's a good quarterback, especially for being, very last pick in the NFL draft, so he's proven a lot of naysayers wrong, but I don't think he has the tools that he's used to having. So I have them finishing last.
Okay. I agree with you. This division was the hardest to rank at all. Right now, as of right now, today, I have the 49ers 1, Rams 2, Cardinals 3, Seahawks last, but I could easily flip them all over because, one, I think it's going to be a battle of attrition for this entire division.
So wait, you got the Niners first?
I have the Niners first for right now. Okay. I feel like I'm going to end up changing it before the season starts, but right now I have them first. Just out of respect for Shanahan as a head coach. And I think that's why I ranked them the way I did, because of where I rank the coaches right now, kind of, sort of. The Rams, the only thing that scares me about the Rams is Stafford has a back problem. I don't know if any of y'all have bad backs.
Oh, yeah, that's horrible.
Oh, yeah,
but
man.
You could be good today and completely ass tomorrow.
Get blindsided and pop, especially when you're talking about a slip disc.
Absolutely.
Well, it could end your season.
Oh,
Right.
shit. In
End
your way
career.
of walk.
In your life. I mean, the fact that they're talking about epidurals and we're talking in the preseason.
Yeah, retire, bro.
Oh my God, dude.
Retire.
So
Yeah, Super Bowl.
that's very scary, and so that's why I was thinking about putting them first, but I just can't do it with that. Arizona, I feel like they could be a strong team, but unfortunately, Call of Duty comes out late October. So once that happens, they're going to fall by the wayside again. So
You're referring to
Kyler
Kyler's
Murray.
history with
Yeah.
Call of
This
Duty
is-
release. Yeah.
and much like Trevor Lawrence and everybody else, he is on put up or shut up situation as well.
Absolutely.
And you're talking about Trey McBride. There's nobody else to throw to. Yes, they do. They have a 6'4" dude named Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, never mind.
But unfortunately, he's too short to actually find his ass. That's why. And the first person he sees is Trey McBride, which is why he gets all the targets.
Well, the problem with Kyler Murray is that he's so used to just doing the running. I mean, that he
Yeah, he just runs around.
he just runs around. Hopefully,
Little road runner
but
feet.
once again, that's why I say if he actually loses a step, and he
Oh,
gets
yeah.
caught by one of the a mean safety,
Yeah.
it takes his head off.
Yeah.
That's not going to be a.
But I will say this: he does know how to run out of bounds. He does do that.
Yeah, that's true.
And as far as Seattle goes, I just think their defense is just not there yet. And so because of that, I think that's going to make them fall short. So I think they have one more year to go. I like their head coach. He's a young head coach. I see what he's trying to build, but I think it just takes one more year for them to get where they need to be. So
Well, at least it's not Pete Carroll.
correct. I can't stand him and that chewing gum. But yeah. So right now, 49ers, Rams, Cardinals, Seahawks.
Unfortunately, with Pete Carroll, I have to see his ass twice a year now.
Yeah, good luck with that.
So you got 49ers 1.
I have them one right now.
Okay. So I've got Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals, 49ers. That's my
Same here. Same
Um,
thing.
Yeah, I would like to put the Cardinals above the Seahawks because I'm not a huge fan of Sam Darnold, but as you already pointed out, Call of Duty comes out and Kyler Murray is
Like that.
not great when it comes to that. So yeah, Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals, 49ers. 49ers, same thing. I've got issues with their health, so.
Yeah, I have the same rankings. The only thing I would like to point out, though, for the Niners is that I don't think they're going to miss Debo very much because Watkins is there. Watkins looks pretty good, man. I think he's.
Well,
I think in Kyle Shanahan's system, I think he's going to be very productive.
if they get Ayuk back, that might.
Oh yeah,
that'll
That
make
too.
a difference too. But
yeah.
we'll
I
see.
forgot about him. And don't forget also, I can't forget the young man's name, but he's Christian McCaffrey's backup.
Isaac Rondo?
No, Wilson. I can't remember his name, but I got to look him up. But he looks pretty good too, serviceable. So if McCaffrey goes down, so I still have them finishing last just because I don't think there's enough pieces and parts there.
Wow.
But they're going to be 500 for sure in my mind. But overall, yeah, I would agree with what you're saying.
I think that division has the most differences
Yeah.
between us. So
I mean,
It's interesting.
it's probably, you can make the argument that it is probably the second or third toughest division in all the NFL.
I agree.
That's just
I
my
agree.
take on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we wrapped that up.
Did we already do the AFC West?
Yes.
Yeah, we did that.
Oh
last.
yeah. So we just need
If
yours.
you want to give
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
give a quick
Yeah.
take on that.
Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, Broncos in that order.
Chiefs, Chargers,
Chiefs,
Raiders,
Chargers.
Broncos. I see my Raiders finishing last, man.
I mean, they could. I mean,
Yeah.
all four of those teams.
I mean, we said that last
It's
time.
a
so
tough-
I
it's a tough
won't
division.
rehash it.
I think
I got
that's
them. I got them
it
ranked as
is.
the second toughest
It's
division.
I like the rank. That I would agree with you 100%, but I just have the Raiders finishing last. So if you're first two, 100%. What else? Do you have any other?
No, that's it.
We're gonna pick up with the SEC Mafia strikes again. Hater effects. What you got?
All right. So one of the big discussions that were talked about, or at least was gathering momentum right now, is looking to expand the college football playoff from 12 teams where it is currently to 16 teams. That off the top pisses me off anyway. But amongst that is Greg Sankey, who is the SEC commissioner. He is proposing that if we go to a 16-team college football playoff, that it should be a 5+1 model, which would mean that the 5 conference champions and then 11 large bids. Now, on its face, you would think, okay, that sounds about fair. But here's the problem. I've been seeing a lot of propaganda being pumped out there in the social media space about how tough of an overall schedule that the SEC has. But that's measured against the fact that they play against each other. Now, if we're going to take the notion that the SEC as a entire conference is the toughest in the nation,
Which it is.
okay, but you can't turn around and say that everybody in the SEC is better than everyone else when your out of conference schedule is complete bull duty. So let's take an example. Now, if I were to look at
Did you say bull duty?
bull duty,
Are you afraid to say bullshit?
no, I am not. But
Oh, okay.
but let's just take Roll Tide real quick, okay? Now, Roll Tide's out of conference schedule for 2025. University of Louisiana Monroe, Eastern Illinois, and fortunately, Wisconsin. Now, Wisconsin is not a strong team. They're just not. They have been in a philosophy transition for the last 3 or 4 years since their tenured head coach left. So, but that's just a small example. So let's pull up another SEC team.
But that's a
real fast.
Power 5 school.
That's a Power 5 school.
Yeah.
But okay. Let's look at
And you understand these schedules are made years and years and years ahead of schedule.
sure, that's fine.
So they had no idea whether or not Wisconsin was going to be a top 10 school or what they are now.
Okay, but what
they
about
scheduled,
Indiana, anybody?
But-
Yeah,
what about-
they scheduled a Power 5 school.
okay, but what about Louisiana Monroe and Eastern
Kentucky?
Yeah, but
Eastern Kentucky? What
but,
about that?
But every Power 5 school schedules cupcakes.
No, not completely.
The Big Ten does.
Mm.
Michigan does.
Okay. We'll get
I'll
to
wait.
that. Yeah,
I'll wait.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Okay.
All right.
So Ole Miss, for example, their out of conference schedule is Georgia State, Washington State, and the Citadel. Now, the point I'm trying to make is if the proposal stands and they already changed the rules to where the overall rankings will determine who gets into the college football playoff. It's not right now, it's just 1 through 12, whoever gets in, right? So let's just say that philosophy stays. If you do that, and let's just say the top 5 teams get an automatic bid and everything else falls in 1 through 16. Well, what do you think happens when the
Conference champions, though. Those 5 teams are conference champions.
They are conference champions, but
They get the automatic bid.
Yeah.
In the 5+11 model, the conference
you're right,
champions
you're right.
get the automatic bid.
you're right. But the point I'm trying to make is the SEC is trying to stack the deck yet again because of the process.
No, they're not.
Let me finish. If you keep promoting out there that the SEC is the strongest conference, he's trying to insinuate not only do we're automatically going to get one, but we're also are going to have the majority of the 11 at-large bids because the SEC is a stronger conference.
Can I please take this?
Just one, let me just do one point, sir. The remaining 11 teams get decided by a committee regardless of conference affiliation.
Yes.
It doesn't. Conference affiliation doesn't play. It's the team that the committee ranks them. Just go back to 2001, 2002 Nebraska days. That's what it's going to.
No. But,
So they're not overly emphasized on the rest of the SEC. Now, if the rest of the SEC were ranked, then that's a different conversation, right?
Yeah. Okay. Everything you just said is the opposite of what it actually is.
Right.
So the commissioner is arguing for a 5+11
Conference.
which hurts the SEC
Right.
why?
because the conference champion for the SEC is
There you
always
go.
going to be in the top 16. There's no situation in which whoever wins the SEC isn't going to make the playoffs. What he's arguing for are for the Big 12 champions, the ACC champions getting included who might not be ranked in the top 16. So honestly, he's taking what he's doing by arguing for the 5+11 is he's saying the Pac-12 winners should get an automatic bid and keep Texas A&M out, who had like 3 losses, but they're ranked 16th in the country. So it's actually beneficial for the other lesser conferences, not so much for the SEC or the Big Ten.
Well,
And on top of that, I completely agree that the playoffs should either be 8 teams or it should be 16 teams, because a bye week in football is bullshit. I don't care if it's pros, college, high school. Having a bye week in football is dumb because half of the game is about injuries, and so having a bye week is
So
dumb.
why finish first then?
What are you talking about?
Why finish first in your division? Why not finish second or third? That way you can actually control that.
See,
Because that's the whole point of finishing first in your in conference is so you get that bye week.
that's currently
So
the
instead of
incentive.
taking 2 shots to get to where you need to be, you only have 1.
But
Okay, I get that, but in college specifically, if you do the 5+11, it makes the regular season matter way more because the champion gets an automatic bid
Right.
into the playoffs.
oh no, absolutely not.
No,
Absolutely
no,
not.
They
No,
do.
no, no.
They do.
They do.
No, but
they do. They get automatic bids because they're conference champions.
okay, here's 2 counterpoints for that. Number 1, even though he's saying 5+11, but let's be real, is really 4+12 because Pac-12 is dead.
No, it's
Let's
not.
be-
No, hold on. By the charter of the NCAA, the Pac-12, if they get up to the required teams, which I think is
10 or 11, I think.
10 teams, they get their automatic bid back.
Mhm.
But are they there yet?
No, but they're
They're looking for it
they
right now.
I think they added 2 extra teams this year. They're trying to get to that number. So at some point, the Pac-12 will get to the required 10 or 12 teams. I can't remember what it is, and then they'll get their automatic big back
I think
So-
they're
because
grabbing
because they're
the ones from the
considered one of
Mountain
the
West.
Power 5 conferences.
So now that even builds up to my second point because if we do go that route and you're saying that every conference champion gets in, doesn't that help your case or doesn't that help the narrative for the SEC if a non-conference winner, say, I don't know, Georgia, LSU, or one of those, right, gets to play the Pac-12 champion who might be, I don't know, Air Force by this point, whoever that weakling may be in the Pac-12 at that time.
No, because if Houston gets in because they win the Big 12,
Yeah.
The reality of the matter is more than likely they just knocked off like a Texas A&M who went 8-3, or an LSU or a South Carolina or somebody like that who
Yeah.
finished 5th or 6th in the SEC, but they're still ranked at like 16th in the country. So by having those 5 automatic bids, you're going to knock 2 or 3 people off that were ranked, 14, 15, 16.
Yeah.
Well, with
So
last
wait, hold on. So Rigo, so look at it this way. So right, so 1 through 5, take it off the board automatic. Just take it
Okay.
off the board,
sure,
and then the rest of the teams that are all the way down, like it would be what 6, 7 other teams left. You take the 5, 6 teams left, and apply it to this situation that happened this previous year. And according to what this is saying the remaining 11 spots would be filled by teams selected by a committee based on their overall ranking, regardless of their conference
Right.
affiliation.
yeah,
Okay. So the example that you're coming up, you completely negate or forget the fact that this committee is going to be picking other opponents like Kyle's example to fill the rest of these gaps. And it's going to open it up for the rest of the conferences because, again, it's not SEC focused. It's conference championship automatic bid focused.
Yeah.
But out of
Does that
those,
make sense?
Yeah.
So like for worst case scenario, and I don't want to see this happen, and I'm probably sure you don't either. Let's say the Big Ten.
Yeah.
All pick your top 4 from the Big Ten.
So
all of them win. All of them are going to be now. They're like the new SEC, right?
Sure.
You can't make the case anymore that SEC is focused because again, it's the conference champions get the automatic bid in this proposal.
Yeah, and the reality of the
That's the
matter
way it
is,
should be.
the reality of the matter is,
Am I making sense?
yeah, no, you are. Yeah, the reality of the matter is, Big Ten and SEC are both going to get 3-4 teams in every year.
That's my point. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a better
no
way
matter
of
what you do.
I was trying to say.
Yeah, the
100%.
conference champion and probably the conference loser from the Big Ten and the SEC are both probably going to make it in,
Mhm.
no matter
They'll
what.
be like the 10th or the 11th team
Yeah,
considered probably.
But what the 5+11 does is it allows like the Air Forces or Houston's of
Right.
Big Ten,
They
or,
get in the dance and then they
or-
get their
or-
asses kicked.
but it still makes their season
Right.
matter and they still get a chance.
Yes, and it's not SEC focused like you're
Yeah,
you're instigating.
Well, okay, I
Well,
might
I
be
mean-
instigating it, but
I don't mean
there
that in a
was
bad way.
no, that's fine. But there was an SEC coach who said last year that it would be better for them not to play in their conference championship game than just to sit back,
I-
get their
I
bid
know you
and
ain't
move
talking
on.
about Kirby Smart.
No, that wasn't him that said it.
no, but under the current format, he's not wrong. Under the current format, if you were ranked, like let's say you're ranked 6th,
Right.
then you don't want to play in your conference. That's one more game you have to play.
Mm-hmm.
That's one more chance that all your players get injured. It would be much better for you to sit back and just take that number 6, go to the playoffs, and have an extra week of rest.
Which is exactly what Ohio State did.
But exactly. So the point of it is, though,
Which is why the national championship
do the
is
5
not legit.
if you do the 5+11, then there's at least the incentive of, if we play in the conference championship and win,
Right.
we get an automatic bid.
If you lose, you're not going to be necessarily punished.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, see, this is why my overall opinion, the college football playoff needs to go to 8 teams, period. Just be straight up,
I actually like 16.
straight up VIP, man. Because
because that wouldn't work, right? Because here because 16, you open it up, you have 11 other teams that you can consider that are non-conference affiliated. So that means that you have a bigger pool to pull from. If you shorten it to 8, you will see look what just happened just previous year with Indiana being in there, right? Over what is it? Texas A&M,
Yeah,
or Alabama.
Texas,
it was something
A&M,
like that.
Alabama.
I'm okay with 8
Miami.
or 16. I think 8 or 16 could work. I still think the 5+3 or 5+11
I think
is
that's
the
best
right
option.
format. But I love college football, so more football means better things for me. So I'm with you. 16 is fine with me.
So just to, I'm going to try to close this out as best I can. But my next argument in this is we saw Tennessee go to Ohio State. Now,
Why
what?
is that though?
Well, why? But my question is, but just to recall, who actually won that game?
That was Ohio State, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't they beat the brakes off Tennessee?
They beat the bricks off them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
What were they ranked?
Who?
Tennessee? At that
Oh,
time? I don't
I don't remember.
Let me look it up. Look it up.
I believe Ohio State was the higher ranked team.
Well, yeah, Ohio State was definitely a higher ranked team.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is they benefited from the fact that they didn't have to play in the conference championship because it was Penn State versus Oregon. They got a chance to sit back, relax, chill out, and Tennessee had to come up to the shoe, and they got their
But
they got their butts whooped. Okay,
but the 5+3 or the 5+11 doesn't help that situation.
Tennessee was ranked number 7 at the time that they played.
And what OSU was ranked what?
I think there were 5.
5?
Ohio
No,
State,
they were 6.
Ohio State was ranked 6.
They were 6.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, 6
because-
and 7.
Yeah, they were 6.
But they were playing. Weren't they playing at night in the shoe?
Yes.
Yeah, but keep
Oh,
in mind though,
geez.
Tennessee was
That's
looking
rough.
pretty good.
In January.
They were.
They were looking pretty good.
They were.
In
But-
January.
But they had to play at night in the shoe. That's
at
always
night
hard.
in January up north.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to real football. But regardless,
Whoa, no.
well, hey, wait, what? What's the problem?
I'm just saying.
It just means more, right?
Hey, I'm just saying. Ohio State in August in Tennessee might have been a different situation.
But unfortunately, the CFP is in January. So unfortunately, you just gonna have to deal with that. SEC.
That's why you
Now-
won 11 teams.
Now this is what stinks to me. I'm go blue all day. Y'all got me out here defending OSU. That what pisses me off about this. But thanks, Greg Sankey and your SEC Mafia. You're trying to stack the deck yet again
It's
for
not
whatever
stacking
reason
the deck,
because you're trying to gain more money because the biggest thing is all about money. And the more teams you get in, the more
You're
SEC
up in your headspace. If you logically look at it, the 5+11 hurts the Big Ten and hurts the SEC.
I just think
It's not.
It doesn't.
It's not them stacking the deck. It's them spreading the wealth.
Right. Yeah.
Because there's plenty of years that the Pac-12, the ACC, and the Big 12 would not send somebody to the playoffs even if they were conference champions because they wouldn't be ranked in the top 16. But this way, if you do it this way, all 3 of those conferences will have at least, at the very least, all 5 conferences are going to have one person
Right.
as somebody in there.
Right.
And
Well,
then,
how is that any different than the NFL when you think about it? Every single division has
A champion.
a champion.
exactly.
Okay, so conceptually
good
it's the
point.
same thing. And then here's another one. It really stacks up because look what happened in the AFC West last year. You had 3 teams actually go into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously you have Kansas City winning it, and then you
Yep.
have Denver and the Chargers.
That would
and
be
then
the
there,
11.
and then there's other teams that only had their divisional winner, but and some of those
Yeah.
teams got their asses whipped,
That's
but
a
at
good
least
point.
they sent somebody to it. So it's conceptually the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's a good point, Bronco Joey.
It just spreads the wealth a little bit. And in the Big Ten, the SEC are still going to have 3 or 4 teams in each.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like, it's going to be 3 Big Ten teams, 3 SEC teams, Notre Dame, and then the rest of the conference champions.
Yeah.
That's right.
Somehow-
Notre Dame.
Throw
See-
Clemson in there somewhere, you know.
See,
Yeah. Yeah.
See, you say that, but I just feel it in my gut. I just feel it in my gut that in that scenario, the SEC would end up with 5 teams in the college football playoff. I just feel like it would happen
But
by hook or by crook.
if they're conference champions,
Right, that takes the one. But I'm saying, like, I'm just saying the other 11 that we're talking about.
right?
The 11 at large, the majority will be SEC. I just feel
Because
it
they're
in
the
my
better
bones.
conference, man.
But
They're going to have the better ranking.
and-
They're
Okay,
going to have the
but
better
again-
the schedule.
And the
But see, that's-
conference champion was going to make it anyways.
exactly.
It just only
Right.
adds additional
yeah.
people
again,
to
but
the.
it's the rest that I'm concerned about, and it's about the fact that they're stacking the deck as well because the SEC refuses to play a night conference game. Meanwhile, the rest of the conferences, including the Big Ten, they do play a night
What do you
a
mean?
night
The
conference game.
Pac-12 plays night games all the time.
No, not night.
Ninth.
Ninth.
Oh, ninth. I thought you
A
said
night
ninth.
conference game.
So let me ask
So-
you this. Here's another question. How many times have we in the past, since they didn't have a division or conference winner, then that the conference wasn't able to send anybody at all because
All
of
the
reasons?
time.
So at least this way, they
Opens
actually
it
are
up.
able to send somebody to
Yeah.
represent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's why it's not benefiting the
ACC, anybody?
Yeah. If the ACC AD was the one suggesting this, or if it was the Big 12 suggesting this, then that would be in their advantage. Of course they're doing that because that guarantees they're going to get at least one team in.
Yeah.
But the SEC doing it, we're already getting our conference champion in.
Yeah.
Right.
All we're doing is taking
You're already at the top of the mountain. now.
But so all we're doing is taking 1 to 3 slots that a potential SEC player or team could go into and giving them out to the other conferences. So that's why it's not an advantage for the SEC. It's a disadvantage,
Right.
and your hatred of the SEC is
And-
just clouding your judgment.
And
I
think
am-
about this too. They're giving up money to do that,
Exactly.
right? I
Yeah.
mean, they really are. If you think about it, I mean, the SEC is the best conference in the nation.
So in other words,
really
what it's also doing is, when you're able to actually send somebody from each conference to it, it does take away from the SEC, on
Yeah.
positions that they could actually
But it's
put in
smart though too because it provides. Even though the regional aspects of the different conferences have somewhat diminished because teams have been joining all over the freaking country,
Thanks to the SEC.
it's no, man. What are you talking about? We're the only conference that still has everything in our region. The Big Ten has a freaking school on the East Coast and the West Coast.
Because you took the strongest teams that were actually just so happened to be south of the Mason-Dixon. Y'all did that on purpose. You forced the other conferences to do what they ended up doing.
We can't help it that the biggest and best want to join the SEC. Okay, stop. Hold on. Let me finish what I'm saying.
You could have made it respectful. Hold
Oh,
his tongue.
man.
Right. Get in there.
All right. So
Yeah, Rico's about to lose his.
my point is though, by making sure that the Big 12 and the ACC both have, and the Pac-12 at some point, all have the ability to make the playoffs, it allows the fan bases in those regions to have more viewing time. They're going to view the playoffs, which is going to increase the money, the TV money. So it's better for the SEC and the Big Ten overall.
Man,
Okay.
hater, I think you're
All right.
living up to your name today, buddy.
All right, you know what? That's fine. Y'all can paint this.
Just take the
You
L,
can
bro.
paint-
Just take the L.
Y'all can
You know what I'm
paint
saying?
this
Audience,
portrait a whole.
Do
all
you
want.
agree? Leave in the comments whether Hater of Facts needs to take an L on this one.
Look, you know what? I'll take the L for now, but it'll turn into a dub later. Because I'm telling you right now, y'all painting this portrait of hope, and I'm telling you right now, the SEC they don't
It's
fool
not
me.
hope, my brother.
They don't fool me. If
It's
they
a
go,
better way.
I'm telling you right now, I'm putting it on wax right now.
Okay.
I'm standing on business on this. I'm telling you, if they go to 5 and 11, I'm talking about the 11 teams, right? The 11 teams, the majority will be SEC because they're stacking the deck. Number one, they're riding off the reputation that they already have of being the best conference, and it will convince the committees to select the SEC teams because their quote unquote strong their conference is or their games that they played are stronger. They're trying to manipulate this, and on top of that,
SEC.
and on top of that, their out-of-conference schedule, which I already displayed here, their out-of-conference schedule is so trash. It will actually encourage them to continue to have weak pansy ass out of conference schedules during the regular season, so that way they could be even more strong by the time you get to the playoffs.
You keep cooking, you're going to burn this meal.
Yeah.
Look,
we can talk about the
Hey, man,
conferences. Next time we can talk about the conferences.
Sure.
I know the SEC is actually in the process of changing the way we do our scheduling. Since we just added two of the biggest, baddest schools, to our conference.
Let me just ask this question. This will kind of put the argument to bed. Realistically and objectively, what are the best two conferences in the nation?
There's no
It's
question.
SEC and Big Ten.
Is there anybody else?
No.
No. So naturally, the teams that are going to be chosen for these conference games and the other 11 are going to be from the best conferences.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, yeah.
You're not going to choose somebody from the Mountain West
No.
at number 6 or 7. Come on.
See, but see, that leads to my
But you
point.
agree, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like I can't even think of the word right now. But the simple point of the matter is this speaks to what the SEC is trying to do. If you're going to pick from the stronger conferences, right? So now it's going to bounce up
Rankings.
against the SEC, the SEC and the Big Ten. But the problem is if the perception that the SEC has a stronger conference, that means that more teams will be in the eyes of the committees
Absolutely.
more
That's where-
likely to be actually
Because
put into the college
That's where
football
strength of
playoff.
schedule comes in, sir.
And we've earned
Yes,
we've
but the-
earned that reputation by winning the freaking ship every year for the last decade.
There it is.
Okay?
Except for the last two.
10.
Okay, well, the Big
Except
Ten,
for the last two.
7 out of the last 10.
the only conference outside of that's the Big Ten, which is why
Right.
they're number 2. But we're still number 1. We still get the most dubs of any other conference.
And they have the strongest strength of schedule than the Big Ten.
It's a
Yeah.
misconception because their out of conference schedule is whack.
Doesn't matter. Our strength of
What
schedule
is
is still crazy high.
Okay.
Come on. You can't deny that their strength of schedule is way more difficult than it is in the Big
And
Ten.
all you have to
But
do
their
is look,
out of conference is not.
But-
That's the point.
Okay,
but you know what shreds that? Look at the bowls at the end of the year.
Ooh, good point.
SEC
Good point.
dominates the bowl season.
Good point.
Absolutely. Especially against the Big Ten.
Except for the fact that Michigan beat Alabama twice. But you want to keep talking?
Okay. Arkansas
Oh,
beat
by
the
the way-
brakes off Penn State.
Arkansas, you know what? Arkansas is not even considered in this conversation.
Hey, I'm just
They're not
saying.
even considered.
Hey,
Let's
Penn-
stop that.
Penn State's considered a top 5 team this year.
You're only 2 steps away from Vanderbilt if we
Okay.
even talking.
Bull crap.
Well, I'm just saying.
Now,
You
now,
can-
now he's really not pulling his punches.
All right.
He's
I'm
getting
just
hurtful.
saying, man.
Why are you getting hurtful? Huh?
I'm-
What-
All right. Speaking of hurtful,
when y'all gonna beat Alabama? How about that?
speaking of
Maybe this year. Who
hurtful,
knows?
let's do the rankings. Do you want to take a shot at this?
Well,
Goodell?
okay, so I'm not too big
Let's do top 5.
into college. Well, I know that a lot of people might disagree, but I think Texas is actually going to be number 1.
Oh my God.
I know. But then I kind of go back and forth because, like you just said, Penn State. I go back and forth between them and Ohio State, and then so I think those two can be kind of interchangeable. And then I have Georgia, and then after that I homer pick my Fighting Irish.
All right, let me start with this.
I'm gonna throw up.
Let's start with this. Let me get this out the way. First of all, I think it's disrespectful that Texas is ranked number 1 right now.
But
It's totally disrespectful. I have said this before, even when Michigan won the year prior. At least of the initial ranking, respect the champ. Now, after that, and games are played, you can do whatever you want. But at least in the first week, the champ should be number 1. Now, after that, I think Clemson might end up number 1.
Clemson.
Yep, because their team is stacked as hell. It's stacked as hell. Their defensive line, they have the equivalent of Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis on their team that Georgia had years ago. They have the equivalent right now on Clemson right now. Kublik, he's very good, and I think they will finish number 1 because of the ACC may not be as strong, but they'll be respected. Number 2 is Ohio State. Number 3, Texas. Number 4, Notre Dame. And number 5, I have actually Florida as number 5. And the only reason why I totally disregard Penn State is because James Franklin will screw up at least 2 games. He just does that just off the rip. So there you go.
What's that?
Mine's real simple. It's Texas 1, Ohio State 2, Georgia 3, Notre Dame 4, and I have Oregon at 5.
Oregon.
I'm I'm so disappointed to hear you say that.
Okay. The reason I say Oregon, they're ranked, I think, like 7th at the AP, but they spent billion in NIL dollars this year.
Who?
That's almost double what Ohio State spent.
That's a lot of Jordans.
They're buying up talent like crazy. I don't think it's going to make them number 1, but I think it's going to make them crack the top 5. Money talks.
But sir, it's like Tyson said, everybody has a game plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Oh, I agree. I don't think they're going to win it all, but I think you could. I'm sorry, with the way the college football. This is why I wanted to talk to us about the NIL. Maybe we'll do it next time. But
we did it in the previous pod. We can do it again.
Yeah, we
can do it again.
They really need to put a limit on that.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
Because Nike is trying to buy a chip. Like just they're treating college football like baseball.
Well, they're doing it in Michigan. Michigan spent $25-50 million.
They spent almost as much as Ohio State.
But not as much as Ohio State.
Yeah, but you're still top 5, I think, something like that.
Well, we've been late to the party, but go ahead.
I can understand. All right, now that you explain it that way, I get it. But at the same time, it's just it hurts my heart to hear you say that. Especially you being an SEC guy, you're gonna have Oregon up there. Fuck that. No, not at all.
What's your 5, sir?
Well, first of all, I think it's disrespectful to put Texas number 1 when Ohio State won the chip.
Okay, we agree.
That's
there.
disrespectful.
Yep.
So I'm with you on that 100%.
Yep.
But see, this you guys are thinking of it from an NFL standpoint.
No,
No, you're the champ.
No.
It's a different.
Respect the
It's
champ.
a different team every year.
but
I don't
year after
care.
year, Ohio State is
they're
I hate
perennial
saying
good.
this.
Yeah, I get that. But it's a different team.
I'm just saying for the first week.
Well, and not
That's
only
all I'm
that, but
saying.
let's not forget the fact that Ohio State kind of limped their way into the playoffs.
Yes,
Yeah.
they did. That's fair. But yeah, that's fair.
They're still the champ, though.
Which is why I got them 2. It's not like I'm shitting all over them. I'm just saying that I think Texas, they're bringing back a crap ton of talent, and if the quarterback is all he's built up to be, we'll see.
So mine's is similar to the coaches poll right now. The coaches poll has Texas 1, Ohio State 2, Penn State 3, Georgia 4, Notre Dame 5. I'm only gonna just do the 5. Me personally, I would swap. I would put Ohio State at 1, Texas at 2, Georgia at 3, Notre Dame at 4, and Penn State at 5. As much as it hates me to say that.
I think I misunderstood the question. Are we ranking who we think they are now or at the end?
End of the year.
Oh, I was just doing the current rankings that they are now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was
you
on that.
want to do it again?
No,
No, that's fine.
That's
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
fine.
'cause
I'll just
That
my rankings were based
preseason.
off.
I'm sorry, I should have said preseason or end of the year rankings. Mine's
Okay.
preseason,
Oh, okay. Mine was end of year. I'm
but
not
I
talking about
Mine was
reserve the right middle of the year to change my rankings.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we'll revisit this before the CFP rankings come out. So,
Absolutely. Okay, so gentlemen, we have 5 minutes left. This is usually the time that we take to do an Alamo Minute. With this Alamo Minute, what we do is we either have a gripe, tell somebody to kiss our grits. Shout out to Hater with Facts with that one. Or if you have a shout out for somebody from the local community, business, somebody from San Antonio that's doing it right, let them know. So I will save mine for last. I'm going to switch over to my left. So Goodell, you have anything?
Actually, I really don't have much to give this time around. I just didn't have, I mean, until football really gets going. I mean, I saw that my Dodgers, they started picking it up a little bit, so I can't bitch about them too much. They're inconsistent at best, but
They're acting like they won it already.
yeah.
That should be your kiss my grits.
Well, I mean, they're winning some decent games. I mean, they're the MLB's actually kind of shaking things up because look at what the Yankees are doing now. They are a breath away from not making the playoffs.
Yeah. Which is sad because they got some decent pitching.
Oh yeah, they absolutely do. But man, some of the errors that we've seen over the last few weeks have just been remarkably bad.
Yeah.
But no, until football really gets going, I don't have any kiss my grits or anything like that. And then lately, it's just been business as normal, so I don't really have any.
No problem.
Anything else?
Hater with Facts, what you got? Kiss my grits or Alamo Minute?
Oh, yeah, this is definitely kiss my grits. NFL and NBA sports writers, all of y'all can kiss my grits.
I second that.
Number one, when it comes down to, we're going to have some hypocrisy going into 2025 in both sports. Why? Because you had a coach of the year in the NFL who finished with a worse record than a person in their own division, and he failed to beat said team the entire time, but somehow ended up being coach of the year. What the hell? Secondly, as far as the NBA goes, you gave Coach of the Year to a guy who had an established team who did improve on their record, but only by 8 games, only over a team that won 3 times as many games from one year to the next. And somehow that coach does not get Coach of the Year. Now you're going to end up having a situation like this again in both the NFL and NBA, and you're going to look at that and you're going to give it to that guy. And for whatever reason, you just completely ignored that in 2024. So on that, sport writers, get it together, stop being lazy, but while you had it, kiss my grits.
Very good. Very nice.
I'll just have a shout out, Cam Little. He was the kicker that kicked that 70-yard field goal. And NFL can kiss my grits because they don't count it because it's a preseason game. That sucks.
Oh, actually, if I want to go back, I want to go back and give some well wishes for that kid that got hurt from Detroit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
that just had visions
Dude,
of that kid from the Bills that got hurt, in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And and my shout out to both teams were to refuse to play.
Yeah.
I thought that was a class act. They recognized what was really important. It's a preseason game, so I thought that, they actually the NFL, from what I understand, they can kiss my grits because they were forcing them to actually come out and play. And then when they when the coaches utterly refused to let them snap the ball, and they just kept on taking delay of games.
Yeah,
wow, they really did that.
Yeah, they still.
Dude,
yeah.
And finally, the NFL, they actually called the coaches, and the coaches are like, no,
Wow.
I'm not. We're not.
NFL kiss our collective grits.
I thought that was a horrible move on the NFL. I mean, you talk about now. I get it. If you're actually a paying customer, but at the same time,
Dude,
when you see somebody's life in the balance,
that's a human being down there.
you
Not
see
a
somebody's
bother.
life in balance, for a preseason game, for a game that doesn't mean a damn thing. I know that there's some asshole out there that's going to be like, I paid my money, I want to see a product.
Oh, yeah. There were people who were betting on the game. They were pissed off.
Yeah, and that's...
They can kiss my grits, too.
Yep.
Yeah, so, those guys suck. A bunch of assholes, you bunch of godless heathens, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I swear to God.
Yeah.
That's, do you have any soul whatsoever?
Mm-hmm.
A kid life is in balance, and you're actually bitching about a preseason football game.
Right.
Yeah.
What if he's a father
Yeah.
or an uncle or, brother? He's definitely a son.
But praise
So-
God, the guy he's actually, he's made a recovery.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think he got I think it was a pretty serious concussion, but it could have been so much worse.
Yep.
But kudos to the teams for actually standing up to the NFL and saying no.
Yeah.
Well done. I'd
Yes.
agree with that. Damn.
That player's name is Maurice Norris.
Yeah.
Right. Maurice Norris. And he's back with the team.
Shout
He's
out
doing
to
well.
Maurice Norris and his family.
Yep.
I'm glad you're doing well, brother.
Yep.
Damn, I don't know how to follow that up, but so I have a Alamo Minute and a Kiss My Grits. My Kiss My Grits is to all the Philadelphia Eagle fans that keep disrespecting Jalen Hurts. I was TDY a couple weeks ago, and this dude was a Eagles fan, and he was complaining about how Jalen Hurts is a mediocre quarterback because he only threw for 2,900 yards. And I had to remind him, sir, Saquon Barkley had 2,000 plus yards, and he still threw for almost 3,000 yards. What are you complaining about? And you got a Super Bowl. And he made some clutch throws. So for all you Philadelphia Eagles fans, and take it from a long-suffering Raider fan, I'll take Jalen Hurts on my squad all day, every day. Y'all can kiss my grits if you don't appreciate him. As far as the Alamo Minute goes, I want to shout out Burger Boy. I went there for the first time. I had me a working man. Whew, that burger was
Not a sponsor.
delicious. Hopefully will be
Hashtag
soon.
not sponsored.
Hopefully it will be soon. But that working man special with light jalapenos and some of that fries and the milkshake, woo, it was good. But that's all I have. Gentlemen, anything else before we sign off?
I'm good.
Woo Big Suey.
Woo Pig Suey, thank you as always for coming. Hater with facts.
Go blue, baby.
Still all the hater with facts. You holding it
100%.
down. Angry Joey, Goodell, Bronco Joey. Thank you for your perspective as always. And everybody, if you like this, like, subscribe, and leave comments. Let us know how we did. Also, don't forget, let Hater with Facts know you took an L. All right, signing off.